Gonna be Diabolicals over for the team 2. First up versus Airless off the bat. Hopefully he's ready. Literally, Succubus standing right in front of you. Can you see it? Or is that thing actually like stealthy invisible? Gonna be getting a shot. Does he himself a proper go? It's gonna be Succubus immediately stopping Airless opener. As it's gonna be portals opening up for Diabolicals. 2 portals real quickly. Gonna be Airless. Not even dipping himself. Just shadow stepping right back to him. Mortal Code to follow. So far right after. Does he have any way to interrupt it? Shadow step in last second. Doesn't even need to go for interrupt either. Just going for a shadow step to make sure that the actual cast does not go flying out of his hands. Last second. Gonna be a port out of Airless. Is Diabolical setting him back. Airless looking for a bit of a reset. Does get himself a, oh, wait a second. Oh no. Oh no. I think Airless might have made a slight mistake. Does end up correcting it. Quick shadow step to reconnect again. Hopefully he doesn't need a second shadow step. He knows that Dire is gonna go for a port. Waiting for him to go for it. Vanish to fall immediately. Could be a potentially big damage onto Dire. Man eviscerates. Yo, absolutely blasted through him. Airless with the Cloak of Shadows. Just to make sure no stones, no Succubus is able to stop him. Gonna be a wall for Dia together with Reflect, but there's only so much you can do. Mortal Code send it. Airless does himself a trinket with the Vanish yet again. Back with the kidney shot. Does he have himself maybe a shadowy duel? If only he had himself a shadowy duel, then he could seclude him away from the Succubus. Bonzafel is gonna set him up. Does go for a shadow step immediately, but Dia boarding immediately on the same global. Expecting for Airless to go for that shadow step and have himself yet another go. The Rogue catches himself yet another re-stealth, and for Dia, it's a question of, do you have the Succubus CC? Can a shot? No Succubus, nothing. Oh, there's nothing you can do. Just tearing right through him as Airless spent through every single cooldown but an evasion and blind. So he has those still in the backdrop as he's going to be going up versus a melee shaman. So that evasion actually might come in handy. Gonna be immediate root onto Airless as he's trying to find himself a better angle versus Chicago. Ghost Raptors join in. Gonna go for a shadow step as Airless goes in for a leap. Actually, as Chicago goes in for a fair leap. Airless goes for a shadow step. I don't know if he was trying to change that to Chicago or separate away. Gonna go for a shadow step yet again, but that totem gonna keep you in place. Trying to see if we can take that thing out. Ghost Raptor's finally gone. Get a shot to follow with yet another knockback. Does Airless go aggressive here? He does. Decides to stay in fully aggressive as best as he can. Not gonna retreat away from Chicago. Gouge to follow after he's able to get a couple of cooldowns out of him. But Chicago might need to go for a little bit of a self-heal here. Try to see if we can catch up after Airless into a light less to make sure there's no juke situation. If you're able to stun the Rogue, even if you don't go for a juke in between of it, he should be mostly fine. Does go for a kidney shot. Big damage potentially. Shadow strikes to follow. Cheap shot right after. Does he have the finishers? Looks like he's able to get through the Chicago's defenses little by little, but not enough to completely just tear through him. Does force a wall out of him. Get a shot, knockback, shadow step immediately, trying to let Chicago out of his sight as best as possible. Cheap shot to follow, does some evasion very soon. Light and last will trinket out of this one. Got him some plenty of shadow strikes, yet another cheap shot. Oh, that last eviscerate. Did plenty of damage. It was that Kyrian empowered resident, what is it, Echo and Reprimand eviscerate for 7 comp points. My goodness. I feel like you got your tears set this week, didn't ya? Your eviscerates are so much deadlier. Like, don't get me wrong. Have you even used Shadowy Duel or Secret Technique this round? Are you even using Secret Technique? It might not even be. I didn't even see. I guess we'll find out here in a bit as LFG Sucks is going to be up next. Cheap shot opener by Airless. Got himself evasion really early on in case the other Rogue goes in for any kind of like any trinket setups. He's going to shadow step past him yet again as LFG trying to see if he can get himself a go. Airless goes in for cheap shot. LFG trying to see if he can catch up to him, but he couldn't. That cheap shot to lock him down last second was the play as Airless trying to find himself some line of sight. Gouge to follow him. Might he be able to go for a shadow step? No, not gonna go for a juke. LFG needs to find him as soon as possible, but Airless has blind coming back up. Vanish coming back up very soon. He's gonna try to see if he can get around LFG. Full get a shot. So hold on to cheat death. Does LFG go for a big go? Looks like LFG tried to go for a setup, but messed something up. I'm not sure exactly what. Something happened in between of that. But he went in for a blind, got himself another go, get a shot. Vanished on the shadowy duel. On Secret Technique, he's ignoring that damage entirely. What a good vanish. It's going to be a blind onto LFG. Does he trinket this one? He could. Airless kind of waiting out for him. Airless no longer has a trinket anymore. Blind, super short. Get a shot onto LFG. Does trinket out of this one. Airless, does he go maybe for Cloak of Shadows on this? Maybe, potentially. Big damage onto LFG. Into another Shadow Strike. Eviscerates back to back. Nothing he can do about it. He does have himself a kidney shot turning around. Airless still hasn't cheat death. Even last year, if it actually holds, he might be okay. Cheap shot to follow. Does he? Oh, what is that cheat death? That cheat death just didn't do anything. Okay, well, there's rogues for ya. So blood with the stun onto LFG is gonna be able to take him out. My god, there was no Invis build. There was no Eviscerate build? Oh, you mean no Secret Sneak build, right? Because no Eviscerate would be a whole nother story. Wait, no tech, yeah. No Eviscerate build. That was awesome, though. That was a lot of damage. I'm hoping that eventually rogues will get to the point where they just don't need Secret Technique. Like, they'll just end up nerfing that thing into the ground where it's like, all right, just play Eviscerate and you'll be fine. Because it's kind of like, I think it's so much better than banking onto one big finisher, but I don't know. Oh, big damage on Haster though. Stoneblood not giving this man a breather whatsoever. Haster having to use every defensive here, just rotating from Desperate Prayer into a potentially maybe even Vampiric Embrace, trying not to get interrupted blind out of Stoneblood as he doesn't want to give Haster any kind of jukes. Haster kind of lowish on health, got himself a little bit of healing. Aegis was used. Main just need to go for a Disperse. Does go for Disperse before Stoneblood able to capitalize on him whatsoever. Oh my goodness, into a Dispel on that Vampiric Touch, which does horrify him out into a distance. Hastian still trying to see if he can find himself a bit of a breather stun with a bit of a damage onto Stoneblood, but the bubble is going to stop in place. It does have himself Vampiric Embrace, but it's not really going to help him whatsoever unless you got a trinket. Maybe Stoneblood doesn't kill you. Oh man, there's just no way he doesn't. There's no way he doesn't. With the man's going to be up next, trying to see if he can find himself a better angle versus the Paladina. I should have put the 4 set on. I was thinking you were already running the 4 set. It's going to be a setup by Emotes. Got himself Latin in his hands, ready to go. Zap up onto Stoneblood. As a Shaman versus a melee class, even a Paladin as a melee class, Emotes should have a bit of an advantage here. A small advantage, not an immense advantage. A small advantage, because he's able to go for a lot of instant cats from a distance, able to go for knockbacks. So the Paladin always has to find a way to re-engage back with Emotes over and over, always having to close that gap. And with those knockups that he's going for on himself, I wonder if that DRs all the other knock-up effects that Emotes may have. Because every time he puts a Flame Shock on him and Stoneblood throws a Judgment that hits a player, it dispels him, and when Flame Shock is dispelled, it pops you up into the air for a second. So I wonder if this is going to be good for Emotes, or is it going to DR Stoneblood on other knock-up effects? Because I know knockbacks can DR, but I don't know if knock-ups can DR themselves. Stoneblood should get himself juggling himself back-to-back, going to be stunned out of that Earth Elemental as Emotes trying to go for a bit of a Lava Burst. Like the last of Stoneblood trinkets out of this one, has himself potentially either Blessing of Spell Warden or Lay on Hands is going to end up knocking himself back up yet again, at least able to keep the Flame Shocks off of himself as Emotes trying to find himself a bit of a setup versus the guy. So far has been able to chip away at his health from a distance. Stoneblood having to find line of sight behind any pillars or ramps as best as possible. Emotes got plenty of range on the guy, and Stoneblood just trying to go for a little bit of recovery, a little bit of healing, using that Wake of Ashes just to make sure he got himself the resources for Word of Glories. Is going to go for Laying Hands, but a 50% DR on that thing, or not DR, a 50% healing reduction. Yeah, you dampening, you're not really gonna have a great time with this one. Hopefully this man is running Spell Warden, but based on him using Lay on Hands there, I think he's a Blessing of Protection player, at least in this round, which isn't gonna help him that much versus the Shaman, which is very unfortunate. That means, Benz, if you can pull him away from any kind of pillars, you will be in a good spot. Does have a knockback. That's going to be Hand of Freedom, knocking himself off the Hand of Freedom, losing quite a bit of its value. It's going to be slows onto Stoneblood. Got himself big zaps to follow. Stoneblood, again, able to find himself a little bit of line of sight. I think Emotes is going to have to play him out in the open and knock him into like a corner with roots and stuns and whatnot. He may just have to play the game where he pushes him out away from any kind of pillars. Stoneblood put himself out in the open, could always retreat back to the pillar, decides, you know what, he's going to stay in, Hand of Freedom to keep him moving. Immense potentially opportunity to knock the guy off the bridge away from any kind of line of sight. Could be a good situation. Immense going to go for a bit of healing. I think Immense is going to try to play it super safe, but he plays it carefully. Knockback doesn't quite connect, throws himself off the side of the bridge, and this one Stoneblood wants to chase, wants to stay on him away from any pillars. Spell Warden is the play. He did have Spell Warden in the back pocket this whole time. I think trying to wait until the perfect opportunity where he can Spell Warden and then put pressure onto Emotes. It's going to be Fire Elemental joining in. This is where Stoneblood could potentially just end the duel. Emotes has no help whatsoever, but does the Shaman maybe turn this around? Stoneblood chipping away at the defenses. Oh, hammer at the end. Does end up capitalizing on it. That was definitely the play at the very end. That's going to be Stone picking up 3, actually. Arrowless with 2. Well done. I didn't even realize Stone picked up 3 there. Well done, well done. Does anybody need one more? Jay is asking, boys. Let me know if you guys need more bodies.